Assalamualaikum. So today we will discuss about Al Qaeda. And my friend Gibran Irfani Abdullah will discuss about history. During the 1979 until 1989 Soviet-Afghan War in Afghan Union backed the communist Afghan army. Muslim rebels known as Mujahideen banded together to fight the invasion jihad. Osama bin Laden the 17th child of 52 of a millionaire, and the history of Al-Qaeda can be traced back to 1979-1989 Soviet-Afghan War in Afghanistan. At that time, the Soviet Union, assisted by the Afghanistan government, was involved in an armed conflict against local militias who were reluctant to be ruled by the local communist regime. The situation was then used by the US to provide training and weaponry assistance to the militias concerned so that they could fight against the Soviet troops. Some of them later became Al-Qaeda sympathizers, so an opinion emerged that US helped create Al-Qaeda indirectly. The Soviet war in Afghanistan also provoked an influx of volunteers from outside Afghanistan to fight alongside local Afghan military. Solidarity, they were then known as Mujahideen. One of them is Osama bin Laden, and with his of connection and personal originating from his family's construction company, Osama military camps to recruit, train, and arm foreign Mujahideen who were about to deploy in Afghanistan. Towards the end of the Soviet-Afghan War, Osama met with a number of and based on the result of the meeting, which took place in 1988, they then agreed to form a group whose focus was to expand the area of their armed struggle operation outside Afghanistan, and this meeting was also said to be the 1980 Afghanistan withdrew. Afghanistan came. A year later, Iraq carried out a military invasion of Kuwait as well as raising concerns in Saudi Arabia that the Iraqi military knew its military operation in Saudi territory. Osama then tried to solution bring his Mujahideen followers to face Iraqi forces if the Iraqi military actually invaded Saudi territory, and instead of accepting Osama's offer, the Saudi government prefers to cooperate with the US and let the US-led coalition forces use Saudi territory as a base to invade Iraq. Immediately who has his own hatred toward the US and is reluctant to see the involvement of non-Muslim forces in protecting Saudi territory. When Osama expressed his disapproval from Saudi government, the Saudi government then expelling Osama from abroad in 1991. Expelled from Saudi Arabia, Osama then made Sudan the new headquarters of his group. And on February 26, 1993, for example, Al-Qaeda detonated a 500 kilograms bomb in the parking lot of the WTC building. And 2 years later, Al-Qaeda conducted a failed assassination attempt on the president of Egypt, Hosni Mubarak. And still in the same year, Al-Qaeda also detonated a bomb in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. And in September 11, 2001, there was a phenomenal event that became a milestone in Al-Qaeda's boom in popularity. A number of passenger planes hijacked by Al-Qaeda members crashed into the Pentagon building and the Twin Towers of the WTC. And after conducting an investigation, the US authorities concluded that Al-Qaeda was the mastermind behind the incident itself. And the next, we will talk about the figure of Al-Qaeda itself. When discussing influential figures in Al-Qaeda, of course, the first person mentioned is Osama bin Laden, as you can see on the screen. This man is a descendant of an Arab conglomerate and is the founder of the Al-Qaeda group and organization. He is the Al-Qaeda's main leader, who is a charismatic figure for his followers. And for those who call themselves as Mujahideen, Osama bin Laden is like an icon of their leader. And apart from Osama bin Laden, who is the leader of Al-Qaeda, there are several figures who have had a major influence in the process of Al-Qaeda's journey, like like Abdullah Azzam, Ayman al-Zawahiri, and Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. So Abdullah Azzam was born in Palestine, 1941, and apart from recruiting during the Afghanistan war, he was also active in spreading his understanding through writing and lecturing. For example, his writings are published in the monthly journal Al-Jihad, which is circulating in Saudi Arabia and its surroundings. For radical Muslim, Abdullah Azzam is a role model. It has been proven that in recent years, many of his video lectures have been circulating on the YouTube site. And the purpose of the publication of Abdullah Azzam's lectures was to inspire the fighting spirit of radical youths and members of terrorist group. And the next is Ayman al-Zawahiri, was very influential in the organization of Al-Qaeda. With Ayman al-Zawahiri's talent and experience in politics and organization, this Egyptian-born figure has played big role in the organizational process of Al-Qaeda, and he is one of the initiators of the birth of Al-Qaeda itself. And the next we will talk about Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. Its relationship with Al-Qaeda began when the group it formed. Jamaah Tahwid wa Ijihad decided to join Al-Qaeda in October 2004 and changed its name to Tanzim Qaidat Al-Jihadi fi Bilad Al-Rafidain. And the next we will talk about the ideology of Al-Qaeda itself. So the essence of Al-Qaeda's ideology is jihad, and the establishment of an Islamic caliphate is an absolute one. According to As'ad, the greater jihad is to realize Islam as rahmatan lil alamin, and Al-Qaeda considers jihad qital or war to be fardu ain as the only jihad that has been absolutely valid since the issuance of the letter At-Taubah. So I will talk about the definition of the problem itself. So the origins of Al-Qaeda have been explained in the history section, and when the Soviets prepared to retreat according to the social movement theory by Viktor Wicks, where in the social movement theory, the leaders of Al-Qaeda have the initiative to solve existing problem, or we can call it as some Middle Eastern citizens who do not accept rulers in the Middle East who are too repressive. Osama bin Laden and some of his close associates decided to use the network they had built to take global jihad initiatives. Osama's vision is to create a vanguard of elite fighters who can lead a global jihad project and unite hundreds of small jihadist groups fighting in various countries under one umbrella. And the next will be explained by my friend. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. The next is the formulation of the solution. International Islamic Front for Jihad against Crusaders and Jews is centralizing decisions and implementing the decentralization. And we can see in the box 4, number 1 is great leader Osama bin Laden. The second is Shura Council. The third is military committees. The fourth is administration and finance committee. The legal committee, the fatwa committee, and the media committee. This slide will be explained more in the next slide. Next, please, Nisa. Thank you.
I think I will explain about this. So Osama constantly echoed the need for jihad with extreme violence to realize what he believed in, such as you can see on the screen, there are seven things that believed by Osama. So the first is injustice against Muslims perpetrated by the United States and sometimes by other non-Muslim countries. And the second is the need to eliminate the state of Israel. And the third, the Jews are master of usury and treacherous nations and must be cut off from this world. An urgent need to force the US to get out of the Middle East. And the next is destroying Western and American ideology for immoral acts ranging from fornication, homosexuality, drinking, gambling, and usury, that civilians, including women and children, are legitimate targets of the physical violence of jihad. And last but not least is the Shia Muslims are enemies of Islam. And the strategy and program section will be explained by Gibran.
Okay, thank you, Nisa. For the strategy and programs, the international Islamic extremist movement is dominated by Al-Qaeda, organization with global reach. Many other regional and national groups compete, cooperate, and merger and fight in the various theaters around the world. They share the basic objective of establishing a state for the Ummah, the pious Muslim community. Based on their strict Islamic principles, using offensive jihad as the method. There have always been different between in their approach. Al-Qaeda favor the more gradualist approach and made extensive use of local front organizations such as Al-Nusra in Syria and the ruthless Al-Sahab in Somalia. The strings of smaller jihadi movements were focused on their areas of operation and effectively pursuing a strategy of localization. Al-Qaeda would naturally favor the gradualist approach and the focus on the near enemy and using spectacular terrorist attack against the far enemy to drive recruitment and build its image. Central to Al-Qaeda's incremental approach is winning the heart and mind of local population, in part through establishing alliance with local rebels and tribes, as well as establishing Sharia courts to influence the social and ideological discourse of population it seeks to control. Al-Muhammad wrote, the group views these undertakings as preconditions to establishing a viable state for the Ummah. Al-Qaeda contends that ISIS failure to account for these factors short-circuit its expansive state building effort. As far as Al-Qaeda goes, it is refocusing on local theaters and winning the heart and mind of local population. But it has a reputation for attacking Muslim targets, and Al-Sahab plays a large part in this, which does not help its aim. Significantly for the West, the report notes that the continuing competition between Al-Qaeda and ISIS may lead to more terrorist action and on the global stage. With Al-Qaeda bouncing back, the possible desire to maintain its comparative advantage on the global stage. A scenario in which both players try to outbeat and outperform each other on this front should not be dismissed. Next, please. For critical notes of Al-Qaeda influence, so much of what Osama bin Laden has spread over the years via video message, his aims are vague and influenced by the ideology of jihad. Few of his political aims were concrete, including the attempt to establish an Islamic Caliphate in Iraq. However, even though U.S. troops that invaded in 2003 have now withdrawn from the country, the strategic objective of the terror organization led by Osama bin Laden remain fruitless. An expert on Middle East affairs from the University of Munich, Michael Bauer, analyzed that Al-Qaeda has failed in Iraq, especially since Al-Qaeda carried out a bloody terror campaign in Iraq and their potential allies. The Sunni were angry about the act of terror. Okay, next, Nisa. Sorry. For the achievement and weakness, for the achievement, after more than a decade and a half of combating Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan and Pakistan, the United States faced a diverse array of threats from Al-Qaeda affiliates in the Middle East and Africa. While senior Al-Qaeda figures reportedly remain based in Pakistan, the network includes several affiliates across the Middle East and Africa, including Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, and Al-Sahab. Al-Qaeda also retains a small but possibly growing presence in Afghanistan. U.S. officials have started that Al-Qaeda still maintains a foothold in Syria through its ties to Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, formerly known as the Nusra Front. Through the exact nature of that relationship may be evolving. Starting in the midst of 2000, group operating in the Middle East and Africa began to formally pledge allegiance to Al-Qaeda leaders. With the exception of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and the Nusra Front, Al-Qaeda affiliate groups had developed around local conflict before forging ties with Al-Qaeda. Prior to the 2013 creation of the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda affiliates in the Middle East and Africa includes the following group. The first is Al-Qaeda in Iraq, pledged alliance to Al-Qaeda in 2004, previously known as Tauhid wal Jihad. The group emerged in 2002. Following the US invasion of Iraq in 2003, it expanded under the leadership of the late Abu Musab al-Sarkawi and was rebranded following Sarkawi's death in 2006 as the Islamic State of Iraq. Sarkawi's successors now lead the Islamic State organization and have been disavowed by Al-Qaeda leadership. Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb pledged alliance to Al-Qaeda in 2006, previously known as the Group for Preaching and Combat. The group originated from an Islamist insurgent faction in Algeria, 1990s civil conflict. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula formed in 2009 following a merger between Al-Qaeda branch in Saudi Arabia. Established in 2003 and known by the acronym QAP and Yemen, established in the early 1990s by factors returning from Afghanistan. The next is Al-Sahab, formally joined Al-Qaeda in 2012 after several unreciprocated pledges of support. The group emerged in the mid-2000s as an offshoot of militant wing of Somalia's Council of Islamic Courts. The next is Nusra Front, emerged in Syria in late 2011 as an offshoot of the Islamic State of Iraq. The Nusra Front was designed by the State Department as an alias of Al-Qaeda in December 2012. Although it did not publicly declare its allegiance to Al-Qaeda until 2013. In July 2016, the Nusra Front renamed itself Jabhat Fatah al-Sham and stated that the group would no longer be affiliated with external entities, leading to criticism from some Al-Qaeda supporters. In January 2017, it merger with several other militant groups to form Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. For the weakness, at times in recent years, intelligence officials have assessed that the core leadership of Al-Qaeda continues to wield substantial influence over affiliated and allied groups such as the Yemen-based Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. A more common analytical view in 2018 seems to be that Al-Qaeda is no longer the rigidly hierarchical organization it was on 9/11, but instead is flat, decentralized, and geographical dispersed. This leads to questions about whether the husband-spoke model, wherein the core directs the activities of multiple local affiliates, is still applicable. Still others see the relationship in reverse, with core leadership providing legitimacy to local affiliates, but relying on them for financial support and operational action, as opposed to the Islamic State, which he characterized as a mass movement. Former National Counterterrorism Center Director Nicholas Rasmussen described Al-Qaeda as operating as a clandestine covert organization with barriers to entry that made it difficult for individuals, in many cases, to become members. It remains to be seen how this organization ethos might change going forward in light of the Islamic State's loss. Okay, next. Okay. That's all from group 5. Thank you for the time, guys. For all question, let me know. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.